Man calls sister a cripple, dad gets ultimate revenge. When I was 13, my sister Jenna had this bone condition that kept her in and out of a wheelchair for almost a year. My dad has multiple sclerosis, so carrying her any distance made his legs go numb. He needed to park directly in front of our house to get her from the car to the wheelchair without walking. Our neighbor Kent had been parking in that exact spot for 5 years before we moved in. First week, my dad used it. Kent came out saying that was his spot, and we needed to move. My dad explained about Jenna's condition and his MS. Kent said he had a bad knee from a work injury and needed the close spot for groceries. My dad said Jenna's medical needs came first. Kent started parking there on purpose before we got home. He worked earlier hours, so he'd take the spot at 3, right before my dad picked up Jenna from physical therapy at 4. My dad had to park 3 houses down and carry Jenna while his legs shook. My dad started having my mom stand in the spot to save it. Kent would pull up, see her standing there, and sit in his truck revving the engine. One time he inched forward until my mom had to step back onto the curb. My dad saw it on the security camera and went to Kent's house. They screamed at each other on the porch until Kent's wife dragged him inside. Kent let his dog poop on our lawn. He reported my dad to the HOA for leaving the wheelchair on the sidewalk, even though we brought it in immediately. The HOA lady came out, watched my dad help Jenna one afternoon, and told us Kent had been calling with complaints every week. This went on for 8 months. Then one day my dad was getting Jenna out of the car after school. She was crying because kids had made fun of her wheelchair. My dad's hands were shaking from the MS and a long work shift. Kent came out because he had people coming for a barbecue. He asked how much longer we'd be. My dad said 2 minutes. Kent said his guests were arriving soon and he needed the space now. My dad kept helping Jenna. Kent got louder, saying we always made everything difficult. He looked at Jenna crying in the wheelchair and said if she was going to be such a cripple about it, maybe she should just stay home. My dad stopped moving, stared at Kent, then helped Jenna inside without saying a word. That night my dad was on his laptop for hours. Next morning he called the city council about converting the street parking to a disabled zone. They said $400 plus installation, 2 to 3 weeks for approval. He paid that afternoon. Here's what I found out later. My mom had been interviewing for a job 2 hours away for 6 months. The day before Kent called Jenna a cripple, my mom got the offer. She told my dad that night. They looked at houses online and put an offer on one the next day. 2 weeks later, a city crew showed up. They painted the spot blue, installed the disabled parking sign with the wheelchair symbol, put up notices about $200 fines. Kent ran out asking what was happening. The worker said it was a legal disabled zone now. Kent came to our door, asked if my dad did this. My dad said yes, to protect people who needed accessible parking. Kent said he'd call the city and get it removed. My dad said the permits were filed and it was city property now. Then my dad said we were moving in 10 days. My mom's new job started in 3 weeks. Kent went pale, asked when we'd decided to move. My dad said the job offer came a few weeks back. Kent asked when he'd called the city about the parking spot. My dad said the day after my mom accepted the job. Kent realized my dad had known we were leaving when he paid for the spot. Started yelling that my dad did this just to screw him over. My dad said he did it to protect disabled people. If we benefited for 10 days before leaving, that was just timing. Kent called my dad every name he could think of. My dad closed the door. We moved out that week. I drove by last year, 15 years later. The blue paint's faded, but the sign's still there. Kent's truck was parked 3 houses down because he still can't park in front of his own house without a ticket he can't afford.